Welcome back to the Culturally Distinct Podcast. Your boy DJ KO. I'm glad you guys tuned back into the show. It's been a long time coming. I know you guys been hitting me up. I've been trying to push this content as fast as I can, but it's been holiday time. We just got over Thanksgiving. We just got over the Bayou Classic, so we had some things that was going on that distracted me a little bit, but I'm back in the studio, as you can see, and we have some special guests that's coming up. But before we get into that, I'd like to give a big shout out to my sponsor, 605 Infused Beverages. I know it's kind of chilly, so you can still have an infused beverage. It's all good. I know it's for the summertime, but you can have a martini infused beverage. Make sure you put those guys up at 605.com and drink AOP6. Also, I'd like to give a big shout out to my partners over at Red Core Universe that made Culturally Distinct go from domestic to international. So much love for you guys. As you guys can see, we have beautiful people that come on the show, not just beautiful people, but educated people. And the best part about it, they're HBCU graduates. So I want to give a big shout out to Southern University in the building, you know what I'm saying? As you can see, we have Miss Thelma Anderson that decided to bless us with her presence. As busy as she is in the workforce and in the corporate world, she decided to bless us with her presence. So I like to give a big shout out and a kudos to you. So what's up, Miss Anderson? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Awesome. So look, before we even get started, how was your Thanksgiving holiday?
My Thanksgiving holiday was mixed with seeing family and then, of course, enjoying the festivities in New Orleans for the Bayou Classic. So I had a great Thanksgiving.
Awesome. That's awesome. So let's get started. So tell a lawyer, right? The business that you have. Where did that? First of all, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and how did you even get into becoming a lawyer?
So I'm from Shreveport. I was born in Shreveport. I was raised half in Shreveport, half in Dallas because my dad was in Dallas. So my inspiration for going and becoming a lawyer actually is from my upbringing. Coming from a child in a project, seeing crime. My mom was a recovering drug addict. She's been clean. I'm 37. She's been clean for 36 years now. So seeing that environment coupled with moving to Dallas and getting the structure and the foundation of the importance of going to college, that is what basically aligned me with the perfect segue into thinking about college, preparing for college, and ultimately making the decision to become a lawyer.
How and why did you choose the HBCU? So I know you had a lot of options, being from Shreveport, you're right there by Dallas, you're right there by Arkansas and Mississippi. So you had a lot of options. So why did you choose HBCU and Southern specifically?
So I chose Southern, one, because I didn't want to go to Gremlin. Gremlin was not in my ministry. I never got the feel to go to Gremlin. I've always been different. And, if you want to go to the best and be around the best, Southern University was the only choice for me. So that's how I selected Southern.
Oh, okay. All right. So now going to Southern, having those experiences, you decided after undergrad, you decided to go to law school.
So I always knew that I wanted to go to law school even before going to undergrad. So me going to Southern was a segue to go to law school. I thought I wanted to go to to Southern, but I took 2 years off after graduation. So during the time of me being in undergrad, I was a workhorse. Like I ain't gonna say I didn't enjoy, but I was working so much. I was in programs. I was, trying to focus and get out of school to where I didn't get to enjoy undergrad like I wanted to. But that forced me to take 2 years off in order to really enjoy adulthood. And that's what prompted me to apply to Thurgood because I knew I wanted to practice in Texas. And the way Louisiana law is, it didn't afford me the ability for me to switch from Louisiana to Texas. So I knew I wanted to practice in Texas. That's why I chose Thurgood for law school.
So for those who don't know about Thurgood is at Texas Southern. That's in Houston, Texas.
Yes, another HBCU.
Yes, another HBCU that has a real prominent law program there. Yes. So let me ask you this, because I never really had an opportunity to ask somebody this that went to either Southern law or Thurgood law. One is in Louisiana, one is in Texas. Is it a big difference in terms of law between the two states?
Yes. Yeah, so Louisiana operates more off of a civil code because of the Napoleonic Code. They're the only state in the United States that has the way they do law is different. Texas is more of a uniform system of the law to where it can be complemented by other states. So that's the biggest difference between Louisiana and Texas. Well, Louisiana in itself, because they are the only ones like it. And if you paid attention a couple of years ago, they just went from a majority to a unanimous in jury selection.
Yes. Yes.
So that gives you an overview of how jacked up Louisiana law is.
Yeah, it is. I'm originally from Louisiana, originally from New Orleans, and even in terms of business, it's a lot that's kind of, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna use my words wisely, but it's kind of backwards there, and of course it's a good old boy system everywhere, but there is like it's a system, and if you're not in that system, you're just out of it, and
you're out of it.
Yeah, that's why I even chose to come to Texas. So moving forward, going to law school, what made you get into the business side of it? Because I asked that because we, as now I don't know, I'm gonna speak for myself. Going to HBCU, undergrad was basically a big party. We graduated, we got a degree, but it was basically a big party. And as we got more serious, we got into our professional degree, master's or our law degree, we decided to buckle down on, what we wanted. And most HBCUs is either agriculture, engineering, nursing, it's very rare you see somebody a doctor, or if they do go into law, it's criminal law. So why did you choose to go into business law?
So I have a very unique journey into business because I never thought that I was going to be an entrepreneur. Thought I was going to be just a fixer for companies. But when I went to law school, I took this business association class. And it was with one of my favorite professors that he was African too. So he talked a lot of noise all the time. He repeatedly would say that women belong in the kitchen and not in the courthouse. But that was his sense of humor. Like, that's how Africans are. So I took a liking to his class, and I was number 2 in his class when we finished the semester, and I was pissed because I was like, why do I have an A-? I know I amateur this class. And he was like, you did your best or whatever. So that gave me an insight to business because I was excited about it. I was like, oh, this is what business is. And knowing that as an African-American, we don't really, in certain areas and dynamics, we don't get that exposure. So also during law school, I think it was my last year in law school, I came up with this idea of a foldable sandal by just having to walk to the courthouse every day and my feet hurt. And I'm like, listen, I'm not Beyonce and I don't got Beyonce money, but good Lord, I want to be cute and slay in the courtroom, but my pinky toe would not let me be great. So I literally had a dream of a foldable sandal during my last year in law school. And that is what transitioned me into being more of an entrepreneur, because I have a very innovative and creative mind to where I can think of things that have never been done, or I can help facilitate ideas for business owners to get them where they needed to go. So After I graduated law school and took the bar, got employed, I became a prosecutor. I put that money that I was making, and little money from the county, because they was not paying a lot. I would put that little money to the side. I started my LLC, got my trademark for that particular brand. And then it was time for me to start thinking about the actual design, hiring a shoe engineer in order to get the ball rolling on that. So it was more so just God pushing me into that lane, because I didn't think that lane was going to be my lane, but it has become my lane, and I've married it. And that's why I now help serial entrepreneurs myself, because I've done everything that they've done. And I'll say this, people think we go to law school and they teach us how to run a business. Absolutely not. They just teach us how to understand and articulate the law. That's it. Every attorney you see that gets out that do not have the foundation of an MBA or went to undergrad for business, they are figuring it out just like everybody else. So because I knew that, that gave me a lane to go into business law for people to actually gravitate more towards me, because I'm going through the same journey they are in.
So that was good. So now I want to unpack that, because you kind of breezed by that. Because me having a couple of businesses myself, my first business, I had to learn like the structure. I had to learn what an LLC was. I had to learn what a DBA was. I had to learn what taxes was, what business credit was. I had to learn all that stuff. I had no idea. So now, first of all, you had the dream, right? So you had a vision from God. That's one. You had direction. Two, you thought about a patent, so a design of something that nobody ever did before. So my question is, how did you even start your structure of your business? Being young like that and still practicing law, how did you even understand the structure of it? And what was the structure?
So the importance of that business association class is it taught you from the beginning of infancy of business to the end. It taught you about LLCs, corporations, the importance of the structure, what a parent and a parent authority is, an agent authority is. We learned all of that in that particular class. And that is why I love that professor, because he knew his shit. And if you really paid attention to and you really invested into what he was teaching you, he was giving you the game. Even though you were paying for it, he was giving you the game. So I knew when it was time for me to actually starting the structure of my business, what I needed to do and how I needed to do it. It was just a matter of actually putting the action behind it and understanding what direction I was going into. And I'll say this. The first LLC I filed, I had to start over, because I didn't go to law school to be a trademark attorney. I learned it, and that's how I became a trademark attorney, because I paid Trademark Engine in order to protect the name that I originally came up with, which was Feet Treats. They filed it and didn't tell me that it was already existing for somebody else.
Wow.
So imagine me starting an LLC, then filing a trademark, getting a rejection from the USPTO because of the likelihood of confusion, which was absolutely correct, to having to start all over and amend my LLC to change the name, which it costs you money. Everything costs.
Yes. Then
having to start the process over. So on the second part of me doing my trademark, I did it myself. What I did was I would go to the free seminars that the USPTO would have at Texas A&M. I did my research. I had colleagues that were in the IP space. So I would call them and I would pick their brain. And that's how I started filing my own trademarks. I did it myself. I started the business structure myself. I was my own guinea pig for every service that I offer. I did it for myself first to see how efficient and how it's going to work so that I can introduce it to my clients.
So that's important. So because I don't want people to miss this. One, I know you're using acronyms. USPO is the United States Patent Office. For those who don't know what that is. So the patent office is basically, you go through the patent office to get anything patent, trademark for your patent. And they tell you if something, a name is taken, or if it's patent in one state, or if it's patent in 50 states, or if it's patent, they give you that information. And of course, you pay for that. But like you said, they had free seminars at Texas A&M, and you have your local business areas where they have these seminars where they give you free game on business. So that's important in itself. So let me ask you, whatever happened to the actual shoe, and what is the actual name of the shoe?
So what is so unique about the rename, I was having issues with, like, you will get discouraged with the rejection, but the rejection does not mean that it's the end all. It means that you got to go back to the table and figure it out, because that name that you originally came up with was not the name that was meant for your product or the services that you're offering. So my sister would call me Lulu. And she started calling me Thelma Lou, because she said I have such an old soul. So I'm in my kitchen just contemplating, like, man, I got to come up with this new name. And at the time, me and my sister was not seeing eye to eye. We were having a disagreement. And Thelma Lou just kept playing over and over and over in my head. And until it clicked, I'm like, this is original. This is me. This is authentic. This is a household name. This can be transferable from products to just a span of different products. So that's how I came up with the name of the product, calling it Thelma Lou for this particular sandal. So in the midst of me redoing the trademark, redoing the LLC, I had a shoe engineer, and we would bounce ideas of how we were going to make this different for patent purposes, because for a patent, sometimes it has never been done or has been done. And if it has been done, you just got to show how yours is different from what they have. And you have to make it so unique to where when they do review it, they have no choice but to grant the patent. So for a foldable sandal, yes, they've already existed. I had to do my research. I purchased other brands who said that they had foldable sandals just to see what it was. And when I received them, I was like, this is nothing that I'm doing. It is not like what I'm doing. So me and my engineer, we came up with the design. Every design that I came up with, or every fix, it happened when I was asleep. And I would have to wake up out of my sleep, text my designer, like, hey, this is what it is. Like, this is what we need to do. And he would do it. And ultimately, it was time for me to go and find a patent attorney. I'm not a patent attorney. I do not do the technical side. I do not wish to do it. Just too much. It's not my ministry. So I'm like, well, I'm working for the government and they're not paying $20,000 for me to hire a patent attorney, because they're that expensive. And literally every time I go to sleep, God sends me the vision. He sent me to go Google one night. Like, this was like 2 a.m. He said, Google patent writer. Google the patent writer. This guy named Brad Fouch came up. And he had over 20 years of experience with, I believe, a 90-something% success rate for patents.
Wow.
So I immediately reached out to him. And this is what I appreciate about him. This is why I refer everybody to him, because when I sent him over my original design, now, you think your design is just like the bomb. Like, I know I got this. He sent it back. He said, listen, I can take your money and you won't get, this patent would not pass the new invention protocol that they're looking for, or you can go back to the drawing board because you got it. It's almost there. I just need you to go back to the drawing board. I appreciated that. I was not offended by it. Immediately, like 2 days later, had another dream. of the last missing piece. Sent it over to my engineer. He sent it back to me. I sent it to Brad. Brad was like, this is it. It's go time. And we filed the patent October 2018. During the pandemic, which was, because it take a long time. It's not like you're going to get a response right away. April 2020, we get a response from the patent office that they were rejecting some of our claims and they were objecting to some of our claims. Objection means that you just have a fix that they need you to do, and they're saying, we're going to accept it. You just need to fix this.
Like a provision.
Rejections, yeah. And rejection is like, we don't think you can overcome this, so we gonna see what you can do. Brad was like, hey, we got two options. We can either amend and stick to the objections, and because we know they're going to get accepted, or we can go all in. I said, we going all in. I said, I ain't come this far to do half. No, we're doing it all. I said, because I know I got it. By June of 2020, the patent office had sent back that they were accepting all of our claims. And August 2020, I had the official patent for the foldable sandal.
Wow, congratulations on that. So
thank you.
So now, how did you even get an engineer? How do you do your research to even find an engineer for designing a shoe?
This whole journey is so unique of how the pieces were put into play. So one of my mentors, she's a judge here in Dallas. She was in the middle of doing a patent for her product. And she told me, she was like, you need to go to Fiverr. Fiverr is where I found my person. You're going to find somebody on Fiverr. Found the person on Fiverr. When I tell you, I didn't pay over $500 for what I got. Did not. And the crazy part about it, the person don't even do shoe design anymore. I was the only person he did shoe designs for.
Wow. And that's important. So a lot of people don't realize in business, Fiverr, like websites like Fiverr, Upwork, you can get so much information from these individuals.
So much.
Pay like maybe $40, and they give you like, because I have some stuff that I went through Upwork through. I can't tell y'all what I did, but I understand 100%. So let me ask you this: in terms of someone that's going to hear this, and somebody that's want to kind of follow in your footsteps. They have a dream, they have the vision, but they don't know the first steps. Like, what are your words like in terms of encouragement or the first steps to take in pursuing a vision or a dream that they have?
So the first step I always tell individuals to do, if you have a dream, write it down. Because if you don't write it down, you cannot see the vision. You can't forecast it. You can't imagine where you're ultimately going to be. I also tell individuals to do it now and do it scared. It's a fear of going into business because you can't control the outcome. You don't get to control the outcome. You get to control showing up for the process. That is the most important thing, is to show up for the process and learn. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have when everything just hits the fan. And it's meant to discourage you, because what God is trying to see is, are you worthy of this opportunity? Are you faithful? Can you stand in the trenches when everything is against you? That's what I try to teach my entrepreneurs. Is it's going to get frustrating. You're going to have days where you want to quit, and it's probably days when you're like, I ain't going. This is too much. But showing up is the most important aspect of business, because you learn so much. Every day is different. Nobody has the same day in business. Today, everything, if I had a fan, all the papers would probably flying over. But it's what you're called to do. Literally, just show up, write it down, and then you have to put a plan to action. If you don't have a plan to action and you are afraid of talking to people and asking for help, good luck.
I didn't know you had a theologian degree either. I didn't know you was a preacher. You over here preaching. so let me ask you this: in your day-to-day work, what are some common things that you see with beginning entrepreneurs? Some common mistakes that they make in the daily, some of the stuff that you see.
Mm-hmm. The biggest mistake is, one, not understanding who you need for your business upfront. The most important people that you're going to need for your business, and it's an investment. And I tell entrepreneurs, you're going to need a minimum of $3,500 to $4,500, a minimum, in order to have the right infrastructure. You're going to have a lawyer, a business lawyer. And I'm not talking about just the average business lawyer. I'm talking about a business lawyer that has businesses outside of their law practice, that has actually ran a business outside of being a lawyer. You need those type of lawyers, business lawyers on your team, because they know exactly what you need. They know how to get you out of a situation that you done got yourself into, and they know how to navigate in many different situations. A regular business transactional lawyer don't know how to do that. They just a transactional lawyer. They just know how to do what they know how to do on a day-to-day basis. They have not been in the trenches, so they cannot get you out of the trenches the way that a business lawyer that has businesses can do for you. Outside of hiring a business lawyer, a CPA, a CPA or accountant, because you're going to want to make sure that the numbers make sense, not only during the year or the quarterly, but when it's time to talk to Uncle Sam. You're going to want to make sure you have that in order, because your paperwork is so important. It is so important, and you have to do it up front. I made several mistakes from 2016 to 2018 that I had to go back and correct. Don't do that by thinking that you can do it alone. You're also going to need someone on your team that is a marketing expert, because you're going to need to know how to reach your target audience. And these are some of the 3 biggest assets to companies up front. This is what is going to not only set your infrastructure up, but also build on your infrastructure. So those are the 3 most important individuals or resources that I tell individuals that you got to start with. Then it's up from there, because if you got it, you got it. It's going to show if you got it based off of who you hired to make sure you got it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that, because I know a lot of people, they don't have an idea of how the infrastructure, they have a plan, and a plan is basically a plan is, I want to make money. Okay, how are we going to do that?
Exactly.
It takes structure to do that. So tell us about your consulting group. How did that start, and how did the name come about? Tell a lawyer.
So this came just by chance, because the original concept for Tell a Lawyer, when we were in the pandemic, because this is when I started that's when I started thinking about going solo after being a prosecutor, being burnt out. I felt like my purpose had ran its course. During the pandemic, when we had all of these issues with police brutality and individuals just looking for a lawyer, I came up with the concept to do an app to, put all the lawyers that are available in this one app, and you get to pick who you want to choose to represent you, whether it's criminal, family, civil, business, you name it. That was the original concept. Well, I came up with a different concept that is actually more impactful, in my opinion, that I'm actually working on with one of my software engineers right now. So I pivoted from that, and then I said, well, I need to be able to show, because I wanted to make sure I had the trademark. I wanted to make sure I had the LLC, everything aligned for the protection part. So I had to show how it was being used in commerce. Me starting TeleLawyer was the consulting group was by accident, because I literally just did it to get the protection. Then I started getting people to come and ask me for business help, for business advice. Then my ex hired me to be his business attorney. So I was like, oh, this is a thing. I just need to, I need to stop playing, and I need to get on it. And TeleLawyer came because people always, they're afraid to talk to lawyers. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, especially a business lawyer, we're here to help you, just like doctors are here to help you. So tell a lawyer what kind of problems you got. Tell them so we can fix them. That's how I came up with the name, and that's how I birthed TeleLawyer by accident. And my first client being my ex is even more insane.
Wow. Wow, that's dope. So look, before we get out of here, man, because I appreciate the information that you presented, and I appreciate you coming on because I know you're busy. Before you get out of here, is there any opportunities for mentorship? Is there any opportunities for just you being part of some seminars where you can give some of this information out? And also, how can people get in contact with you?
Yes, so I'm always willing to mentor individuals. Right now, I am in the process of launching some business webinar courses for individuals to learn how to actually do it themselves and not necessarily need a lawyer, but you're learning from a lawyer. So I'm in the process of launching that at the beginning of the year for entrepreneurs from all over, from every space, because I see the importance of educating you outside of just having a lawyer. I want you to know if something happens and you can't get in contact with your lawyer, how you need to respond and how you need to act and where resources are available for you. So I have that in the works, and that's going to be coming out at the beginning of the year. I have one more seminar that I'm doing this year for the Pathway Summit that is in Dallas. It's a 3-day summit for entrepreneurs where we are teaching. I'm on a panel to teach them about trademarks in business formation, mm-hmm. and also giving them branding and business strategy ideas, because outside of being a lawyer, I actually help brands build on their identity, because the world is changing. So, and a lot of people are afraid, and I know with God giving me this creative and innovative mindset, that was meant for me to help people outside of the law. And if y'all want to keep up with TeleLawyer, you can follow us on Instagram at TeleLawyer Group, or we're on TikTok at TeleLawyer Group, or you can follow my personal page at Lawyer Bay ESQ.
Lawyer Bay, shout out to Lawyer Bay. So
Lawyer
before you out of here, I got one more question. What's the name of the shoe? Like, what's the product?
It's Thelma Lou. So it's in the process of being developed. Thelma Lou. So it's still being developed. When I tell y'all, this is not, I knew nothing about the shoe game at all. And it's a different kind of beast. And luckily I've been aligned with some of the shoe goats that are, helping me through this process. But getting this particular sandal up and running has been a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it. And we're literally at the final stages. So 2024, Thelma Lou should be ready for the world.
Yeah, it is. We speaking that thing to existence, and we got we're in November, so we got a couple more days. So yeah. So Thelma, I appreciate you for coming on, man. I appreciate you giving us 30 minutes of your time. I know you're not in the studio right now. We're gonna do another part.
Oh yeah, I'm coming to Houston. As soon as I'm there, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, we're gonna
get into some things.
Absolutely. Well, that's on camera. We can't sit on camera. But I appreciate you, man. And one more time, give your social media information, website information, where people can find you. and get in touch with you.
My website is www.tellalawyergroup.com, or our academy. We do have an academy where we're launching the webinars at www.tellalawyeracademy.com. My Instagram at @TellALawyerGroup, my TikTok at @TellALawyerGroup, and my personal page is Lawyer Bay ESQ.
Make sure y'all hit thumb up. I'm pretty sure you guys, especially you guys, be reaching out to me in the DMs, asking me about business all the time. I'm not an attorney. I have business sense, but I'm not a business attorney. So you have one right here. So make sure y'all hit thumb up, guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to the show, Culturally Distinct Podcast. Once again, shout out to my partners, shout out to my sponsors. Much love to everybody that's tuning in. Make sure you guys tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the show, and also be safe. It's a holiday time. Thanksgiving just passed. We're going into Christmas and New Year's, so make sure you guys be safe. Make sure you guys enjoy family. And the words of the day is: don't get hurt and don't get caught. Shout out to you guys. Peace out.